Hello, YouTube friends. This is Richard Mabey with Richard Mabey Presents. Still, my car is still in the shop. So I'm walking to get the mail at the mailbox. 1.5 miles to the mailbox, 1.5 miles back home. Got the knapsack on. Just makes it, well, if I get any kind of a package or anything, plus they're talking about having rain this morning. So if it rains, the knapsack's kind of nice because I got a plastic bag. I put the mail inside the plastic bag inside my knapsack, so it keeps the mail a lot drier. No lawnmower people this morning. It's a funny thing with the weight of the pack on my shoulders. It sort of brings back all these memories of hiking the Appalachian Trail. I think the first time I hiked the Appalachian Trail was when I was 13, and the reason I didn't hike the Appalachian, you had to be at least a second class or first class scout. Essentially, you had to be in the troop for a year. So when I was 12 in 7th grade, I had missed all of 7th grade, had rheumatic fever, was in and out of the hospital about 3 or 4 times for long stays. But in 8th grade, I walked the Appalachian Trail, and I think it was the summer between 8th grade and first year of high school, which would be the summer of 1967. So at that time, this is the height of the baby boom era. Birds flying around. The height of the baby boom era. So there were about like 60 boys in the troop, all different ages. And at that point, a lot of the boys stayed in when they were well into high school, and they got their Eagle Scout and that kind of thing. So anyway, hiking the Appalachian Trail, and we're going along, and about 4 or 5 scouts just walked right by it. It was a rattlesnake sunning itself on a rock. And there comes a fellow with a... He thinks I'm crazy. He's totally crazy. So about 4 or 5 scouts passed it, and there was about like 40 scouts or more hiking the trail, single file, double file, that kind of thing. So at any rate, one of the older scouts, I can say his name, Bob Vitale. He was about 2 or 3 years older than me, and he pulls out his knife, and it was a sheath knife. And back then you were allowed to have a sheath knife on your belt. I don't know if you're still allowed now, but back then you could. He pulls out the knife and just very courageously, very brave, just cuts the head off of the rattlesnake in one swift move. And had that rattlesnake had even 1 second, if he had a 1 second delay, if for 1 second he had any kind of fear in him or hesitation, the rattlesnake would have had him. And just the motion, when he pulled out his knife out of his sheath. It was just one, I mean, it was lightning. And he cut the head off of that rattlesnake. Amazing. He went on to join the army and became, I mean, had this heroic action in combat, and he was given all kinds of awards. I mean, he came back in his uniform to the scout meeting, and he looked like a general. Had all these badges. I think he got the Purple Heart too. A lot of people outside now. So anyway, on the Appalachian Trail, you carry half your tent, but you really don't have a tent. It's more like a sheet of plastic. But you carry one half, and your buddy carries the other half. My buddy Don had we bunked together. So you would hike. I'd say you hiked about 20 miles a day, maybe 25. It was a pretty quick pace. You took about 15 minutes for lunch, and then supper was at the camp itself. You know, the camp, yeah, right. You went a couple of yards off the trail, and some kind of a clearing, and that was the camp. And but I guess it was in high school. It was about my maybe third or fourth hike of the Appalachian Trail. Little tenderfoot brings the Dinty Moore stew, his big can Dinty Moore stew. And I don't know, we used to have shakedowns to make sure all the scouts were and so on the shakedown he didn't have the Dinty Moore stew, and I guess his mom put it in his knapsack, in his scout pack. His backpack is like, okay, here's some Dinty Moore stew. He had three big cans of Dinty Moore stew. So they were like rocks. So first day, lunchtime, the kid is just crying in pain. I mean, it's on his shoulders. And so my dad was scoutmaster. He was scoutmaster for about 30 years for the troop. So he has myself and some of the older boys distract the rest of the scouts in the disguise of there's a deer over there. But I think there really was a deer. You know, look, check out the deer, and everybody runs. We had taken the break for lunch. Everybody runs to look at the deer and down by the stream and that kind of thing. No, I stayed with my father. That's right. I stayed with Dad, and my father took the Dinty Moore stew. I think there were 4 big cans of Dinty Moore stew. My dad put 2 in his backpack, and he put 2 in my backpack, and we carried them for the kid. I mean, what are you gonna do? He's like 11 years old, little kid. I don't know what his mother was thinking, giving him these 4 big cans of Dinty Moore stew, you know. Everybody else had, you carried nuts, dried food, dried fruit. You had your supper. You know, you would have like dry meat, you know, for your supper, and everything was like, you know, it was right to the ounce, that kind of thing. Big cans of Dinty Moore stew. So you cannot hike the Appalachian Trail. We used to start in way upstate New York in the course of the week, then go down all the way down New York State, through Jersey, through that Sussex and Warren County area of Jersey, going into Pensy. Went through Fayetteville, just just east of Gettysburg, between Chambersburg and Gettysburg, Fayetteville, and the Appalachian Trail actually crossed Highway 301, a two-lane road called the Lincoln Highway, and then you travel down all through Pensy, and I forget how it follows up after that. I think it goes through Virginia there, but anyway, we covered I would say we covered maybe in the week 25%, maybe 30% of it, you know. But you cannot hike the Appalachian Trail for I think we used to do 5 nights and 6 days. We ended on Saturday with a Saturday afternoon pickup, so that you cannot do say 5 nights, 6 days of the Appalachian Trail and not come out of it with a deep appreciation of the ways of nature. So I will finish the Appalachian Trail story on my way home. I'm at the mailbox center, and I did get the mail. And you can see all the golf carts there, parked there. Let's zoom in here. That's all the people in the pool. And actually there's people playing bocce ball, to my surprise. There's my knapsack. And the kids got their kit nip box package today. They're gonna be so happy. So here's my bench. So I'm gonna take a little breather, have a sip of water, and check out the scene at the pond at the golf course. So I'm resting at my golf cart bench. There's the little water dispenser and the pond, and it's a little bit of traffic today. I mean, not much. I mean, not as if what it's like when the snowbirds are here, but there's a little bit of traffic here. There goes a golf cart. So 1.5 miles from my house to here, and 1.5 miles back. There's people playing golf out there. Here comes somebody in the golf cart. They're going the wrong way. Oh, it's the ambassador. I better not film him. Okay, let me take a break here. So I was just checking behind my little bench here, and the stick is still here. The stick is still here. So I'm going to take the stick, removing the stick and putting it here behind my bench. See how long it stays there. So one last look around the pond, the sand traps, the water dispenser, and the main thoroughfare here. Some golf carts driving by here. And I'm gonna, I do want to show, took some sips of my spring water here. It's the Kroger spring water. It's actually pretty good. It's not bad at all. So I'm gonna put my knapsack on and head on home. Finish up my Appalachian Trail stories. So, YouTube friends, walking back home, got the knapsack on my back. I hadn't gotten the mail for 2 days, so there was quite a lot of advertisements. These car dealers must not be doing too well. Got a lot of brochures and advertisements from car dealers giving me the deal of a lifetime, you know. And then the Opie and Floyd's Kitnip box came, their little toys came, so I've got that in my knapsack. So walking home, 1.5 miles from my house to the mailbox center, 1.5 miles back home. So it's a 3-mile track, you know. So going back to the Appalachian Trail, you know, I always use the clear plastic tarp, or just a clear plastic, yeah, I guess a tarp you call it. Had 1/2 of it, and for the most part, usually my friend Don was my bunkmate, and so we would bring a clothesline. You know, you find 2 trees that are relatively close together, tie the clothesline on one end and on the other, using the taut line hitch. If you were in Scouts, you know what the taut line hitch is. Taut line hitch is where the one end, the end, you wrap it twice towards you, bring it over, wrap it once away from you, and you have the ability to tighten the rope, you know, that's going across from the 2 trees. It's kind of hard to explain. So anyway, clear plastic. I had 1/2, he had the other half. He would, what we would do, this is before Velcro and all that kind of thing, we just overlap the 2 plastic sheets of plastic, one more so above the other, and just kind of, we used to bring a little bit of duct tape, not a whole roll, like half a roll of duct tape, and duct tape it together. So at any rate, I don't think there's anything quite like, you know, when you're camping in a tent, it's canvas and you can't see outside. Maybe you can see out the front. The front of the tent might have a screen, you can see out, but you can see 360, you know, beneath the plastic bag. So you wake up, first of all, when you wake up, you have that feeling, where am I? where am I? And then, there's nothing like it. I remember one time awakening, and we would always try to get camp near a stream, you know, and you would use the water in the stream for cooking and that kind of thing, because you could make a cup of tea or something. As long as you boiled the water, it was good, you know. And you would actually boil the water that night for your canteen for the next day. So if you boiled the water, it was cool. And if you know, you could tell the water looked good. It's a flowing brook or a flowing stream. So I wake up first thing and I look outside the clear plastic tent. And there's a majestic buck. I mean, the antlers, just this majestic, beautiful buck, proud, and his doe is standing beside him, and it was just a moment, you know. And just, they were on the other side of the brook. We were a few yards from the stream, on higher ground, of course, and there is that buck and the doe. I still remember it. I was about 14. I remember, I think it was the second Appalachian Trail, the summer of 1968, between my freshman and sophomore year in high school. Just a moment, you know. I didn't take a lot of pictures on the Appalachian Trail. It's very difficult because, first of all, the pace really doesn't allow it. Monday morning quarterback, I wish I did take more pictures along the Appalachian Trail. I deeply regret it. Back then I had something called, well, I had the old Brownie camera at first, and that took 8 pictures. And it was a big deal to buy color film. You mostly bought, when I was, from about the time I was 8 years old till about 13 or 14, I still had the little square Brownie camera I guess I called it a brownie camera. I don't know if it was a little square box camera, and I believe it was a Kodak. And so you'd have to put the film in manually, and you'd have to put a blanket over me because if the light got to it, it ruined the whole film. So you would put, and then I got somewhere along in high school. Maybe it was the start of my junior year. I got an Instamatic camera, Kodak Instamatic, and it was a cartridge, and you put the cartridge in. They called it 120. I don't know why. The little box camera was 127 film, and then the Instamatic, they called it 126 film, and that was like cartridge. And that's when I transitioned from black and white to color. But I don't have. I have a couple of pictures my dad took of me by my tent in the Appalachian Trail. But oh man, I tell you, I really regret that I didn't take more pictures along the Appalachian Trail. It's so beautiful, so breathtaking. Every second, every moment is, you know, you can't, I don't think it's possible to walk the Appalachian Trail 6 days, 5 nights and come out of it being an atheist. I just don't think it's possible, because it's so breathtakingly beautiful and quiet. You know, you hear the birds chirping, squirrels scurrying around the leaves, even to the rattlesnake. Even, you know, the rattlesnake's going to kill you, but you even appreciate the rattlesnake, you know, as the beauty and grandeur of nature. So yeah, everything's on your back, you know. I had the canteen. I had a 2-quart canteen that I would sling over my shoulder, either on this shoulder and then across, or on my left shoulder and just hang it down. And you know, you would get tired. You'd be surprised the pull of 2 quarts of water takes its toll. I mean, you're walking pretty much, you take a break, lunchtime for 15-20 minutes, and then you take your break. You take a mid-morning break and a mid-afternoon break, but basically you took like 3 breaks, and that was it. And you kept a pretty good pace, you know. I couldn't do it again. A good friend of mine my good friend John is planning on hiking the entire Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia, the entire Appalachian Trail. He's my age, he's 67. And I have so much admiration for him, you know. There's a little bit of a breeze right now. It's amazing, a little bit of a breeze. Oh, I do appreciate everyone who gives me feedback and gives me the likes and has subscribed. I truly appreciate it. I'm at 198 subscribers, so I can't wait to get 200. I've been at 198 for quite a while, so I'm going to close. There's a lot of lawnmower activity straight ahead, so I'm going to close. Stay safe, stay happy, stay positive. This is Richard Mabey, signing off.